How you doing? And welcome back to Taekwondo, bro. Today we have a cool video. So I'm working on some technique with Bob over here. And the main goal of today was to just work on getting clean kicks, not necessarily working for power or conditioning. So on the screen I'm going to put up a couple tips for the technique I'm doing. So we'll be starting off with the basics today. So working some instant roundhouse kicks, trying to get a clean technique in and out. So that means you have a good chamber and also, more importantly, a good re-chamber. Because like it says on screen, if your re-chamber is sloppy, you're putting yourself in the position to get grabbed, which, as we all know, may lead to you not having a very good time. So, like all roundhouse kicks, the most important thing is to really get your hips turned over. So if you look at my leg, just kind of right where the hip is, you see how the back foot isn't really visible from this angle, but it would pivot out, and that gives you a little bit of space to extend. You want to get that foot clean in, clean out, and really, quads is like an overworked muscle when you're training legs. When you're re-chambering your leg, it's really like the hamstrings firing, so you want to make sure you got that clean. And also look at my hands, I'm keeping them up. Sometimes I kind of feint a little bit of a jab there. Sometimes that throws off your opponent, especially when you got a kick coming right after. So we're going to be transitioning right into the fake front roundhouse kick. That's a good one. We're also working mainly on the roundhouse kick here. You just want to focus on that today. So the thing with the fake front roundhouse kick is you want to have a realistic chamber for that front kick. It's easy to focus too much on the kick afterwards and you don't really sell it enough. The main thing with a fake front roundhouse kick is that a front kick, you have a very squared off stance. So your toes are going to be facing up, your knees are going to be facing up, vertical stance. Once you throw that chamber mid-air, you need to recoil your leg and twist your hips over. So now your knee is sideways, your foot is sideways to whichever direction you're kicking. So you don't want to have a sloppy round kick where it's coming up at maybe like a 60-degree angle. You want that as close to horizontal as you can get it. And what really generates your ability to do that is doing kicks slowly. So you want to be able to hold your leg up and really get that kick slow so you have as much control as possible. And then there's a couple other variations. So like we're doing here, I'm working on the one where you actually tap them, and it's a good mix-up. Now, you're not really going to be doing like full damage on this, but it's good because if you actually hit them, you're going to fix their hands to the front, and if you're quick, you can kind of push back off their body, recoil, re-chamber, and then get a little cheap shot to their head. So this one's a little bit harder. I would say definitely be more confident with the fake front round first, but you can always work on that. Now we're working on an instant round kick into a turning hook kick. So we're really, working off the basics here. We started with the instant kick, and now we're adding some stuff on. So what to watch out for here is a hook kick's chamber is a lot like a side kick. So when you recoil that leg, put it down, you got to drop your front foot to the floor, and then it becomes the pivot foot right away. So you need to have good footwork here. You need to make sure you're putting your foot down in a good position, because if you just flop it to the floor and it's too far forward, sideways, this or that, you're not going to be in a good position for your hook kick. And also, when you really whip that hook kick around, make sure you don't overspin like that there. I'm working the rust off, as I said. It's like the first time since the winter where it was warm enough to film. So you want to try to keep that front foot, back foot alignment the same. You don't want to overspin. Now, also, when you're kicking with a hook kick, you can hit with the heel, and that's definitely the more powerful way. But right now, I'm kind of kicking with the ball of my foot, so it's like adding a little inch to the range, and it can still be pretty powerful. But if you wanted to pull for full power, just make sure to get a little closer and go straight heel. So now we're going to work with long round kick into a tornado roundhouse kick. Now this is a little bit of a dizzying combo, and this is just building on the things we've been working on the whole video so far. So re-chambering and getting that foot down in a good position is really important. Now I have videos on doing a tornado roundhouse kick on the channel. You can go take a look. It's in the playlist somewhere. I'll try to link it below if I can. Now usually when you're using a tornado round kick, the target will be retreating. So that's kind of like the main advantage of doing this. So you throw that kick, maybe they block it, and then they dash backwards. So now, let's say you've been working on this the whole fight, you know that's how they're going to react. You go from that way. Okay, now long front into an instant round kick. Now this is the same basic kick as before as we started, but now since it's coming off a long kick, and as we know from the front kicks it's a squared off chamber, you have a little bit of hip pivoting to do to make sure you have a good angle here. If you really have your target dialed in here, and you know that the second you kick them, they're going to come right back at you, this can be a good thing. And also, that front kick is kind of going towards the middle of their body, so their hands are going to be towards the middle. If you can get that kick up high before they have a chance to adjust, you can get a good headshot. And since they're coming in, they're probably not going to be able to move out of the way in time, given that you correctly anticipated the timing. So we get a little bit of slow motion here and reward the viewers who watched until the end. So watching techniques in slow motion is actually, it's a little bit weird the first time. I remember doing it a long time ago in my first couple videos, and it's a way you'll never actually see things, and it really does expose some things you could work on. But don't be too hard on yourself, because you have to remember this is an extreme slow motion. So let's look at this technique extension right now. So you see I kind of push the hands forward there. I do that to mimic a punch, throw off their guard, front kick to the head, rechambering back in. You see the hands are coming up to the guard right up high, and the second I get planted, moving right back into that round kick. You can see my hips are turned all the way over. I kept my guard up, and I rechambered back, changing from a front stance to a back stance. So anyways, thanks for watching today. Comment below if you have any suggestions, maybe different techniques to work on, maybe different format videos. I know someone recently just requested to do one of those guided online workouts that I used to do a lot in 2020. So I'll be working on that soon. And as always, good luck, and I will see you guys next time. Take care.